Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Friday morning. Hope you're having a good day, getting started right with a good cup of coffee and getting ready to go to work. Or if you're retired, like a lot of you folks watching the show, hope you're going to do something really constructive today. Our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. There at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. Have all kind of programs there, and the school will be starting back really soon. We're on today is July the 31st, very last day of the month. So tomorrow will be August. It'll be amazing how fast this summer has flown by. High today is going to be right around 89 or 90, low 79. Water temperature stays around 85 degrees. Our river readings, the Apalachicola Blufftown looks really good. Technically at a 1.9. It's going to look really good for the weekend. The Choctaw Caribbean is going to bump up a little bit. It's reading a 4.2. We'll have a little bit of rise to it. A lot of rain up here last day or two up in South Alabama, and it's getting on down this way. So we're going to read a 4.2 now, but it is going up a little bit. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Like I was saying, look on the last Friday of the month, and we're looking at really strong tides. A high tide this morning at 10:41, and a low at 8:39. That high tide just sort of crept on up into the middle to late morning now, but it's still really good fishing up in the flats when the tides are high early in the morning like this. We've talked about that before. Marine forecast be east-southeast at about 5 to 10. Now, I wanted to also talk about, we're planning our trip. We've talked about it all this time now, and we've been planning the trip a week ago, I started really seriously looking at yesterday's weather. And a week ago, they were predicting for Saturday, I'm trying to get our chart set up here, okay? They were predicting a week ago for Saturday's weather, 100% chance of rain, and coming out of the west at 10 to 15. You know what the prediction is now for tomorrow? 50% chance of rain and coming out of the east at 5 to 7. And that's a lot better. So things are really looking up. Just goes to show you these long-range forecasts, you're really better off not even looking at them. I got in a habit because the technology is so sufficient now. I just get it's a kick to me, but you really can't go by them. I'm really thankful. It looks like a lot better forecast for all the fishermen this weekend. So we're planning you a good trip, and like I said, we have some afternoon thunderstorms, but it should be good. Now let's look at our chart over here, brought to us by Mark Coward of Counts Realty. Our times for today, 12:33 to 2:33 this morning, and this evening from 1:02 to 3:02, okay? Right in the middle of the day. So I'm going to remember that tomorrow. We'll look at Saturdays. And by the way, the weekend times are also on the website too. All right? That takes care of everything. Go ahead and let's take our break now. We'll come back with just a minute. Now, welcome back. First thing now, Sunday morning at 6:30, be sure and catch Cast and Call. The whole new show is coming out. This is their first leg of their trip of the Wandering Woodricks. Walter done a good show. Jeff put it together. It's going to cover the fly fishing segment. It starts off with me teaching the kids how to fly fish up at Mosley. They came up there right a couple of days before they left, and we just went over some basic fundamentals of fly fishing. And the same way I teach my students and all this, so out on the football field. So you'll enjoy that. And then actually, Mason gets actually fly fish and catch some fish, and it's really good. So new segment of Cast and Call on Sunday morning at 6:30. I will say I'm surprised at a lot of people. A lot of people ask me about that show. I'm so glad you'll watch it. It's good, wholesome family entertainment. You get ready to go to church at all, or whatever you do on Sunday. It's a good local entertainment. Okay, I've got a big trip planned. I've been talking about it for weeks now, and still, I want to just, my advice to outdoorsmen, make a list. And now, if you're just going fishing this afternoon like you normally do, or going out in the woods, you normally don't make a list of what you're doing. It's sort of a mental list, and I'm the same way. But when I make it what I call a big trip, like a weekend trip, and we're doing a lot of serious stuff and trying to catch some fish, I make a list, and it's right here, and I go over it. When I used to do a lot of backpacking and camping, I'd lay stuff out all week in the living room. Gail would just shake her head at stuff I had laid out. But anyway, you got to be organized and outdoors. And here's just some basic stuff. This is just for your information. If you do some trips like this and you don't want to always depend on other people. You want to have your stuff and then maybe take some extra stuff. So I got them in categories. First category is just personal miscellaneous, sunglasses, sunblock, the mask. I'll wear this. 10 to 2, I'll wear this now. It's just it's a no-brainer. So all this personal stuff you need. Dry clothes. I had rain gear. I got a little poncho sometimes I wear, but we can get out of rain. So just some personal stuff like that. Food and water. Okay, I put one word on the food and water. The word is plenty. So I just take a bag full of snacks and sandwiches and a lot of water. So we got that miscellaneous boat stuff. Of course, your ice, your bait, your chum. Just some basic. You always need ice, so we'll all bring ice and we'll put it together. So that's the boat stuff, and then the equipment, the 3 R's. Okay, rod, reel, and rig. So you want to make sure that's all set up. And Tony and sort of working on each one of us sort of have categories. So these are things you're doing on a fishing trip like this. We're going to fish all day Saturday and most of the day Sunday. We're going to hit it hard, and I'm excited about it. I look forward to it every year. And but make your list, and because it happens that you'll forget it. No matter how many years you've done it, you'll forget something that. And these little cutters and little things like that, little miscellaneous things. So anyway, have that list. Okay. Also. And what I have to take is all my camera stuff. I find a lot of times I do more filming than fishing, and I'm not crazy about that, but it just happens like that. But this year, getting back, it just came in our new GoPro. Okay, for a lot of people not familiar with the GoPro camera, fascinating one. We had one of these, like I said before, and it's in a case right here, and the person that borrowed it. It wasn't jail. The person borrowed it didn't seal the case or whatever, but we did. You can get some great underwater. I'm put this on PVC. Go underwater with it. You can mount it on the boat and take pictures of the whole crew and all that. And like I said, we've done it before. We've gotten back to it. This came in, so I'm gonna try it out. And I've had promise scale. I won't lose it. I won't damage it. Okay, so that's we're looking forward to having a GoPro. Also, make sure when you do, you file that float plan. And I just cannot overemphasize it. Veterans as we are, we always file a float plan, let everybody know where we're going to be at the landing and sea quarters and Miller, those guys. They want to know where everybody's going to be, and we'll all tell them, and we sort of know where each other's going to be no matter what. And safety, of course, will be a big factor. Okay. Also, I just mentioned this. A lot of talk. This is a completely different subject. A lot of talk on this BP money. Where's it going to go? And all our fears have come true. The politicians have gotten a hold of the BP money, and it's so irritating to see what they're going to do. I want to tell you personally how I feel about it. 100% of that money should go to the fishermen and outdoorsmen and the environment along the base systems. That's where the damage was. All that money should go in here, and not these personal things that politicians want to do with it. It makes you sick on your stomach what they're going to do with it for the betterment of people. What they're doing, they're just doing some payoffs and all. It's just. But anyway, I feel very strong about that. Let your congressman or whoever know that money should stay along the coastline where the damage was done. Redo some base systems and all. Help the fishermen out, and that's where that money belongs. That's where the damage was. So I got to get that out there. A lot of y'all may not know about what's going on, but they're doing all kind of crazy stuff with it because it's like a handout to them. So, all right, enough about that. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. Before we get back into the fishing, I was going to mention, yesterday we talked about the snake bites. There's 2 back-to-back snake bites up there around the Bluffstown area. Took them over to Tallahassee, and one of them was a copperhead. And I went home last night. I was thinking about the copperhead, and I started looking up to get some information I want to share with you. And I did not realize this: the majority of all the snake bites in America, the majority of the snake bites come from the copperhead snake. It's fascinating. You start looking at statistics. But the reports I was reading, and I looked at several websites checking up on it so I could share with you, is it's non-fatal. And then later on in the night, I looked at the fatal snake bites, and out of the first 5, 3 of them were copperheads. I'm going to talk more about that in detail tomorrow. I just want to show you a couple of pictures this is one angle of a copperhead. This is sort of what they look like here, and they'll strike with. They're sort of an aggressive snake. They don't back up on you. They're sort of aggressive and they'll hit you. Now this next shot, I have 3 shots. This next shot is a rattlesnake. I just want to show you the fangs, and people don't realize how big those fangs are. And when they puncture you and go into your skin, it goes deeper than we realize. So and the venom comes, behind a little hole behind those veins and all. But they can do some serious damage. But here's a mainly color. This is where they get the name from, copperhead, from the copper penny and all that. This is really not. It's a pretty snake, but I just don't want to deal with them too much. They have they're, like I say, they're aggressive and they'll strike without warning. And researchers though have found that venom is also really good at cancer fighting. It can reduce tumors and all. So they're working on that on one end there. It's always amazing what they can find out working with wildlife and game and all. So there might be something good to copperhead. I'm going to talk more about this. I'm going to give you on Monday's show. I'm going to give you some reports on some of these fatalities on snake bites in America. It's interesting how some of these things happen where people just didn't get medical attention right away and waited too late because it does spread. Okay, now Scotland. Let me mention this too. I'm going to do the fishing report in a minute. It's been a constant stream of information on scallops, and just recently, a couple of days ago, about the middle of the week, I got a call from a guy who was down there scalloping, and a very good outdoorsman. He's actually a diver, so he knows what he's talking about. He talked to 2 different people, had personally talked to them, and they had been run out of the water. Again, they were like him. They were good scallopers, and they were in 5 to 6 foot of water, and they were run out of the water by bull sharks. And they just said they didn't want to, they knew sharks and sharks' behavior, but these sharks, they said, were just sort of wasn't acting right. They didn't want to hang around and find out. So I 2 different reports of near shark encounters. I just want to pass that on to you, and just be aware of it when you get in those channels. I know a lot of folks try to get in those channels and dive deep this time of year looking for those big old mossy backs, but just be careful and be aware and have some people with you. Don't be there by yourself. And actually, you're safer probably underwater, because he and I talked about it. He does a lot of diving. He says he feels safer when he goes down and gets along the bottom, because than when he is on top of the water splashing around, because he looks more like bait like that. It's a good point, I thought. So that was interesting. Also had checked with some other people, against some reports, and Scott at a Blue Water Outriggers. I talked to Scott Krause, and they get a lot of reports down there. And he's just like me. He said, Coach, he said, some of the people come in and said, man, I couldn't find any. He said, an hour later, some people come in the store, oh yeah, we got our limit. And that's the reports I've been getting. It's been fascinating. Again, why, from one end to the other, people are getting scallops. So it's just like hit or miss. So that's the report I'm going to give you for Friday for the scallops for this weekend. And like I said, we have some time left. Really, August to me is always our favorite time of the month to go. So we're going to get geared up and make some more trips pretty soon. So be aware of that. Also wanted to mention we got some new names. Now we're going to get ready for our giveaway, Sharpen Rock Seafood. One of the things I didn't, I make sure that I got these through snail mail. Now you can enter these contests anyway. A lot of people just send it to me on email and all, but you can send me a postcard. Please add these names. So just Charles Myers from Panama City, Marilyn Myers from Panama City, and Michael Johnston from Panama City. So we've got all those added, and we're going to get ready for a giveaway. Now remember, the first one, a $20 gift certificate. You go down and pick out what you want, and the second one will be a big red snapper. And I've gotten so much positive feedback from us doing this. It's just a good thing. We appreciate Sharpen Rock doing it, and it's good fresh seafood. Literally, as you saw in the video about 2 weeks ago, it literally comes off the boat right there, into the counter, into the display. So they clean them up good. And so let's go ahead and do our draw, and then we're going to get ready. But before we go into the famous Friday fishing forecast, we're going to watch one more short video. I say one more. We've got a series. I started counting these invention videos I did we did down in Orlando. And it's actually a dozen different inventors that I had a chance to interview and share with you. And later on, when school starts, I'm going to share these interviews with my students. And who knows what's going to come from these kids watching people think about their inventions and all. I'm excited about it, but the one we're going to do today is going to be, it's a retractor rack. It's an overhead rack system, and you're going to say, why didn't I think about that? Because it's going to sell. These things are going to sell. Once they hit the market and all, like I say, most of them are coming out in January, but you get to see them first exclusively on Panhandle Outdoors. All right, here's our draw right here now. This is going to be for the $20 gift certificate, and after we draw, we're going into the video. Okay, this is $20. That's going to Ron Hahn, H-A-U-N, from Southport. Ron Hahn, congratulations. And for the big red snapper, we're going to pull out this Joe Ivy from Sandy Creek. Joe's a loyal viewer. So we hit Sandy Creek and Southport, 2 fishing area spots right there, okay? And I'm going to get this set up, and we're going to watch this little 2-minute video. They're going to come back with a famous Friday fishing forecast. All right, here we are with another cool gadget. This is Chris Bryant from Titusville. Okay, tell us what you have, Chris.
What is here? This is called retractor rack. Retractor rack is it's a storage for all your rod and reels that you have. It's really neat. Pulls down, locks in place, put your gear on and off. You want it to go back up, release. It goes back up with gas pneumatic struts.
That is cool. So up in the attic or wherever?
In the garage, in the ceiling, because floor space is one of the biggest things people don't have.
Tell us about it. Do that again. So pull it down.
Yep, we come, bring it down.
Okay.
Bring it down. Got a locking mechanism up there that stops it. Holds it in place.
Get out,
you get your stuff off, on. When you're done with it, push down, pull the lever, release, let it back up.
Wow, why didn't I think of that? I mean, I've got old broom handles up in my garage over there. That's how I like it.
Well, this is a 9-foot ceiling height you have here.
Okay.
But it's designed for an 8 to 10 foot ceiling height. So when it's set on 8 foot now. So when you come down, if this was an actual 8-foot ceiling, this would be a little lower.
Okay.
If it's a 10-foot, it would be this high. Now, I'm not a tall person, right? So you see the 2 holes up there with the locking mechanism?
Yeah.
There's another piece that comes with that extends it. So if that was 10 foot high, your angle, instead of being this angle, would be more this angle to be able to reach. And the bracket's designed for 16-inch centers or 24-inch centers on your trusses.
It's called retractor rack.
Retractor rack.
Okay, where can they find them? Online?
You can find it online at retractorrack.com. And we have some other information here if you'd like to have it. It'll be more than...
Welcome back. Now, why didn't you think of that invention? You could be on the show right now talking about it. Let's get our famous Friday fishing forecast brought to us by Tarpon Dock Seafood. And we're going to start off freshwater. And this is going to be on the website. So you got some friends out of town. I want to know what's going on. It's in fact, we already got it on there this morning. So check it out. Freshwater. The river is right. We've talked about it all week. Really good reports from the river. Apalachicola is 2 feet. The Choctaw is around 4. They're up in the tributaries, little feeder creeks. Fly fishermen are catching a lot of brim and all. The bass fishing has been good. These bass fishermen, the good ones, are averaging 25 to 30, and they're telling me personally 25 to 30 on a bass fishing trip. So that's really good. Now let's start here in Panama City. Let's start on and get a pier report. The pier is doing really well. The pictures I've gotten and the reports I've gotten talking to people, checking out is 3 words: tarpon, tarpon, tarpon. Everybody's excited about catching a tarpon. This is the Panama City Beach Pier, and basically you just want to hook them up. You just want to hook them up. You're gonna get here in the end, and they're coming up and down all through here. You're gonna hook them up and just see them jump 2 or 3 times. If you're lucky, you get them close, and then most of the time they're gonna break off. Ideally, you want to try to get that hook out, but it's just about impossible to do that fishing off the pier. So the pier report's pretty strong. Also, bluefish off the pier. They're catching a lot of bluefish, and some folks eat those bluefish, make sushi out of them. But they're fun to catch. Okay, now let's go move on down Miller. Well, we're still talking about Miller. Let's go to Mexico Beach. Mexico Beach. Captain Mitch Coleman of Florida Days reports the water temperature about 87 to 88. That's really warm, 87 to 88, and the water is really clear. I've noticed that myself, how clear the water is. And we're going to test it out a little bit further, like I say, tomorrow, but it's really nice out there. The grouper bite has been slow One of the reasons is just the water's been rough, last couple of days, so it's getting better now. He's saying a good king bite around the buoys and nearshore structure. Well, again, we're having a banner year on the kings. I'll tell you something else we're having a banner year on too, is the black drum. A lot of people haven't mentioned it, but if you look at all the pictures I've had of a black drum being caught, a lot of drum are being caught this summer. It's really fascinating. Okay, the bay system, East Bay. East Bay's been slow. Got a report this week. They just haven't. I'm not getting a lot of good reports out of East Bay as compared to last year. West Bay is about average. East Bay is a little bit off. And the big bite though, again, is a king mackerel bite coming out of pass, catching king mackerel either around Mexico Beach or coming out of pass here. The bridges producing the bull reds. Okay, I'm still in Panama City. The two bridges, West Bay of course, and then Hathaway, the really good drum bite, black drum. Redfish, good right at the pass early in the morning. When the tide starts going out, at about 9 or 10 o'clock, you're going to really have good luck on bull reds. Flounder gigging is picking up here in the bay system. Got a couple of pictures this week of people just late summer and early fall is the peak of the time for flounder gigging. It's an excellent time. The flounder getting ready to move, so that's just starting off. Spanish mackerel is being caught right here, right offshore, off wrecks. Let's move on down to Mexico Beach. I want to cover St. Joe Bay. We hit on that other briefly, okay, on the Scotland report also. Now listen, you saw some last week. I showed you some pictures of some pompano being caught, so that's a good sign there. Let's see what else. Apalachicola. Been morning bite on trout has been really good. Morning bite around, but it's usually before 8:30. It slows down a little bit, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Scallops are feast or famine. I talked about that earlier. And okay, move on down to Carabel. We're going to give you a full report of fishing off Dog Island and St. George Island. The bay fishermen behind St. George Island, though, that's just steady fishing down there. Not a lot of pressure like up in this area. And so you fish that, that's some just really good fishing, okay? So I'm about to run out of time, but go online and check this out and all kind of stuff. The times on here too. So just have yourself a big weekend and outdoors, and we're going to really enjoy it. So it's been great this week. Had some really good stuff. Next week, already got it planned out. Some good guests coming on, some video of us fishing and all. So you stay tuned and you support our sponsors. We appreciate that. We appreciate your viewership. You have a great weekend. Do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.